The Brightest Light of Sunshine was my brightest light of sunshine for the month. I'm sorry, that was so cringe. To club heaven. What if I don't get in? How will I see you again? Hello besties, it's Kira. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, we're gonna be doing the good old wrap-up video. Guys, I actually think I read 9 books in the month of July. Where did that come from? Okay, I feel so accomplished. Give you my thoughts, my reading, stuff like that. Make sure to follow all my socials down below, along with my Goodreads, Amazon wishlist, stuff like that is linked down there if you want to check it out. Like, comment, and subscribe for more videos by me. And let's just get into it. Okay, so the first book that I read in the month of July was Unsteady by Peyton Corney. I feel like I'm saying it wrong. I actually read this during my little vacation that I was on. It's funny because one of the girls that I went on the trip with saw me reading this and she goes, "Oh, what are you reading?" So we were reading at the same time. I put her on. I gave this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I don't really remember much about it, but basically the plot is that there's this hockey player named Reese who had a really bad hockey injury and is having trouble coming back onto the ice. He has anxiety attacks and panic attacks surrounding being back on the ice, and one day he ends up running into Sadie and she kind of helps him through one of his old panic attacks, and then they start skating together because she is a figure skater. That's pretty much the whole entire plot of the book. It had a lot more deeper topics into it I was expecting, just obviously what he's going through and then Sadie's home life. I like that they comforted each other, but I can't really remember, but I felt like there was a lot more I guess smut or something that I wanted. You know me, I love an emotional romance, so that's what I thought I was getting. And I did get parts of that, or physical stuff going on than emotional, which is fine. But other than that, I really thought the two characters, they really ended up caring for each other. Pretty average book, read it really fast. Y'all know me, I love a hockey romance. 3.5 out of 5 stars. I think I literally searched up cowboy romance on BookTok or on TikTok or something, and I got some recommendations, and this one came up, and I saw that it was a small little novella. So I was like, oh, awesome. It's called O'Hare's Ranch by Lee Jacquot. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that right at all. It's basically, I think little over 100 pages or something, and it's just it's just a smutty cowboy romance novella. Hey, I was eating it up. I don't even remember the characters' names or much of the plot, but what I do remember is that this woman is a teacher, and she reaches out to this guy's ranch and was like, "Oh, this one student said something about animals and I want to prove to him that that's wrong. Do you mind if I come to your ranch?" And it's right off the bat, it's lust. It is lust, but they don't really get to talk at all in their first interaction. She comes back next year, and I think she just keeps going back for 5 years straight, and then eventually one of them makes the first move and is like, "Hey, we gonna go out?" And then they go do something, and then it's spice, and then the book is over. I don't know, I had a really fun time. I gave it a 3 to 5 stars. I mean, what can I really say for a short, smutty cowboy romance book? I don't know, I love the vibes, really fun. Yeah, if you want to read it, here it is. It was fun. 3 out of 5 stars. Then I was just in my small town cowboy-ish romance vibes. So I ended up picking up Rewrite Our Story by Kat Singleton. It is the first book in the Stutton Mountain series, I think what it's called. I don't honestly remember much, but I do remember having a good time. So basically, this book is about Mare and Cade. So they used to be childhood friends, or it was her best friend's older brother, and they had a little thing. There's a then and now timeline, which I usually don't like in books, but I didn't mind it in this one. So something happened and she ended up leaving the small town and just never came back. And then there's a situation where she finally has to come back, and then Cade is just a totally different man, and you're kind of just going through them being back together. I'm really enjoying it from what I remember. I ended up giving it a 4 to 5 stars. I liked the vibes. I think it was more spice than I wanted. I usually don't like Second Chance, and this was actually one that I kind of enjoyed. And I definitely recommend it. I am going to continue with the series, 4 out of 5 stars. Next book I read was The Right Move by Liz Tom Ford. This is the second book in the Windy City series. The first book is Mile High. This is a basketball romance between Ryan and Indy. Ryan is the brother of the female main character from the first book. He's like a really famous NBA basketball player, and he's just very like closed off, quiet, doesn't like a lot of attention. Then comes Indy, who just broke up with like her fiance or boyfriend, needs a place to stay. So her best friend, who happens to be Ryan's little sister, is like, oh, move in with my brother. He's got nobody. He's barely home. They end up moving in together. They end up doing a little fake dating situation. I don't remember much from this book, but I didn't like it. So many people like loved it. And I'm just like, I don't remember what I didn't like about it. I don't remember anything. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars, but I just don't remember much at all of what I was reading. But in my Goodreads note, I said I loved Ryan. So Ryan, I guess, was fine. It's not really helpful at all to anybody. Her writing style being like very, very easy to read and very spicy. I will be continuing with the series. I'm very excited because the third one is a baseball romance. And I think it's Single Dad Nanny. 3.5 out of 5 stars. All right, I believe these next 2 books I actually ended up reading for a video, which was continuing the series that I'm in the middle of. I won't talk too much in depth about them. The first one that I read was The Crown of Oaths and Curses by Jay Bree. This is the first book in the Mortal Fate series. So I read the 2 prequel novellas and really, really liked them. Basically, the series is about Rook and Soren. So Rook is a witch and Soren is a fae prince. And they are fated mates, which means that their fate is to become married, and they have other things that revolve around it. But what's interesting is that fae hate the witches and vice versa. Basically, this is just them meeting and a lot of him just not trusting her. It's a very long journey. He ended up giving a 4 to 5 stars. I like Rook's character. Soren was very like interesting. His POV was a lot of just like politics and strategizing and war and stuff, and just not trusting Rook. Like kind of the found family aspect that's in this with Soren and the people that he has around him. By the way, there is absolutely no romance in this book at all, like none. I felt like it was probably a little long for not much happening. More thoughts, reactions are in that video if you want to check it out. So 4 to 5 stars. I'm sweating. And the second book that I read for that video was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. This is technically part of an interconnected standalone series, so you don't need to read them in order at all, but I like reading things in order, so I picked this one up. And as you guys will see in that video, I was just like overall very, I want to say disappointed with this book, but I just had such high expectations because it's like a lot of people's favorite book of last year. And I don't know, I mean, I gave it a 3 to 5 stars, which is not like bad at all. It's like average, but I just had higher expectations. Basically, the plot of this book is there's Brianna and Jacob, and basically Brianna is like going for this like higher position job, and then Jacob ends up like coming to the same hospital and being also up for that role. So right off the bat, she doesn't like him because, you know, she was here longer, all that stuff. And then he ends up sending her a letter for some reason, and then they just start exchanging letters back to each other. The other parts of the plot is that Brianna's brother like needs a kidney. Jacob's ex-girlfriend is like getting married to his brother, so there's that whole plot. And then they have to fake date. I just felt like the first half of the book was like okay. I felt like they're developing into a friendship, was really, really cute. And then the second half, it was like such a quick flip from them like being friends and then having like a little feelings for each other to them just like insta-lusty. It was like Brianna every single page was talking about sleeping with him, and I was just like, girl, what are you doing? They were just talking about how it's all fake because they're fake dating, nothing's real, like this. And then there's other plot points that come in, and then there was something that happened at the end of the book, and I don't want to spoil it, but it was like a trope, and I hate that trope so much, and I felt like it was so unnecessary. I just didn't enjoy it. The only thing I enjoyed was Jacob's character. I thought his anxiety representation was good. I thought he was really sweet. 3 to 5 stars. All right, the last physical book that I read this month was The Brightest Light of Sunshine by Lucina Coney. This was such a surprise. Like, I was sitting and I was like, I don't know what I want to read. So I ended up picking up this book because it's on like my summer TBR. I ended up giving it a 4.75 out of 5 stars. Guys, this was so good. I just went into it with not the highest expectations because a lot of my favorite booktubers have read this and they just didn't love it. I ate this book up in like 2 sittings. I read this whole 412-page book in like 2 sittings. Basically, it's about Grace and Cal. Something really traumatic happens to Grace and she like wants to come in and get this tattoo, this saying that represents like her moving on from it, and Cal is the one she ends up talking to about doing it. They just like start off by sparking a friendship, which I usually don't like friends to lovers or like best friends to lovers, I guess, because you never see them form the beginning of their friendship. Like best friends to lovers, I feel like you go into the book with them already having feelings for each other, and I'm like, where's the build up? You know what I mean? This had the build up. They started off as friends for like a lot of the book. You know, as time went on, you know, they finally were like, okay, like maybe I have feelings for one another. And then obviously it went into the romance, which, oh my God, it was so beautiful. Obviously there's a lot of deeper topics that go into it, which means it's more of an emotional romance, which means that Keira ate it up. I love an emotional romance. With her traumatic past, and then he has to take care of his younger sister because of things happening at home. It was just overall so beautiful. I definitely want to continue with the series. Really easy writing style. I so recommend this, guys. Read this. 4.75 to 5 stars. The last 2 books I read were both like hockey romances. I read these back to back. Like I read the first one and I was like, all right, might as well finish the series. I had time, so I checked a series off my list. I continued the Swift Hat Trick trilogy by Hannah Cohen. First one being Blissful Hook. This series just basically follows like 3 hockey players. Well, 2 of them are hockey players and one of them's not. But it's like a little friend group, I guess you could say. It follows Gracie and Tyler. So Gracie is the sister of the guy from the first book. And then Tyler is like an old teammate and like best friend of Oakley. Like age gap, I think, like a little bit. Forbidden romance. I read it fast, but like nothing really happened like at all in this book. Like I could not tell you what happened other than like fighting and then sleeping together and then fighting and then sleeping together and then hiding it from everybody, and then there was a conflict and just all that kind of stuff. But I did really like Tyler's character and his character development throughout the book because he's going through a lot. Like that man is going through a lot. I don't know, Gracie was just there. I give it a 3 to 5 stars. I honestly wanted to give it something lower, but then again, it's one of those things where I liked one of the characters, so I can't give it a 2 stars if I really liked one of the characters. So, and then the next one and the final book in the trilogy called Vital Blindside. This one is about Adam. What is her name? It's about Adam and Scarlett. So Adam used to be a hockey player, but it didn't like work out for him because his parents wanted him to get a college degree for business and do all that stuff. So he owns like a hockey training business. And Scarlett was like a really, really good like professional hockey player. She went to the Olympics and all that stuff, but she ends up getting an injury and something is happening with her mom. So she has to come back home and deal with that, and ends up interviewing for a job at Adam's hockey training thing to be a coach for like a specific young girl. And it's kind of just their romance. It's single dad as well, which I really, really liked. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I liked it. I thought it was like a little bit of like a slower burn, I guess you could say, for like a under 300 page book. I ended up really liking Adam. I liked him in the first book. It was interesting because it was kind of like reverse Grumpy Sunshine. She was the grumpy one and he was the sunshine. I really liked her relationship with the sun. I love seeing all the friend group. Throughout the entire series, it's good, like found family. Writing style is easy, it's quick, fun. 3.5 out of 5 stars. those are the 9 books that I read in the month of July, which, again, I don't know where I found the time to read this many books. I don't know how much I will read in the month of August yet because big move is happening, so I feel like every day I'm moving stuff and I'm busy, but it's all right. As long as I'm enjoying what I'm reading, that is fine. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to follow all my socials down below, along with my Goodreads, my Amazon wishlist. Stuff like that will be linked down there if you want to check it out. Like, comment, subscribe for more videos by me. And I will see y'all next week for another video. Bye!